Hello, Jessica Nadav, bringing you this week's Devar Torah for Parashat Vayetzei. We have been discussing in the last couple of weeks, we've been discussing what Abraham Avinu brought into the world, what was so special about Abraham Avinu, what was so different about him. And we saw last week Yitzchak, how he continued the legacy of Abraham Avinu. So just to recap very quickly, 2 weeks ago we saw how Abraham was blessed by Hashem with Bakol, and we needed to understand what that word meant. And we discussed how Ramban brought down that it meant that he was blessed with a profound knowledge of an understanding of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in everything, in Kol, in everything in the world. How he brought Hashem into the world, how this was a new concept, and how he was blessed with this because of the 2 times that he himself was told Lech, to go. Lech having the same letters as Kol. Okay, we saw the connection there. Now, as someone who heard the Devar Torah from Chayei Sarah pointed out to me, Bakol, the word Bakol begins with a bet. Bet, the numerical value of bet is 2. And this reinforces what we were saying. Because of the 2 times he was told to go, Lech, Bakol, he was blessed Bakol. So thank you, Nissim, for that beautiful insight. That was very nice, and that reinforces the point. So last week we saw that Yitzchak acknowledged that he received his own blessing, or that his blessing emanates from me, the original Kol, from Kol. So with Yitzchak we see Mikol, and he picked up the baton from Abraham Avinu. He picked up this baton of blessing and carried it forward. And now this week we're going to look at the next generation. We know that Yitzchak had 2 sons, Yaakov and Esav. The Torah tells us that Esav was a hunter, an action man, and Yaakov was someone who would sit and learn, who liked to sit and learn. With Yaakov and Esav, there was going to be a natural division of this kol, of the physical and the spiritual. Esav would be involved in the physical world. He would take care of business, so to speak, and Yaakov would be more involved in the spiritual world, maybe the more monastic world of Shem and Ever. And in fact, there's a midrash that teaches us that this was in fact agreed in utero. So still whilst they were inside their mother, this was agreed between Yaakov and Esav. The Torah tells us that Yitzchak loved Esav, but Rivka loved Yaakov. And it could be maybe that because Esav represents everything Yitzchak was not, that Yitzchak wanted to be possibly that and couldn't be. You remember, Yitzchak was mollycoddled and was not allowed, for example, to leave the land, whereas Esav was more active and was able to roam and be more proactive. And it could be that because Esav was everything that Yitzchak wanted to be but couldn't, and that he favored him, that he loved him. Yitzchak may have wanted Esav, the proactive son, to succeed him. Maybe he was concerned that Yaakov, being more passive like him, would have carried on like him without daring to make any innovations. He may have felt that the world needed a more active innovator. And he was right. He was right. But the initiative shown by Yaakov and the daring shown by Yaakov in getting his brother's blessing for himself proves that Yaakov was not like his father. When Yaakov put on the hairy garments of Esav, he wasn't just dressing up like Esav. He wasn't dressing up like someone else. He was showing his father his dual personality. He's showing his father he could handle both roles, the physical and the spiritual. Yaakov was neither an Abraham nor Yitzchak. He combined both, the innovator and the keeper of tradition. And so Yaakov gets the bracha, he gets a blessing from his father and walks away with both brachot. In fact, once his father realizes that he has been deceived and that Yaakov has proved that he's capable of being both a man of action and carry the baton, Yitzchak actually reiterates the blessing. And he says in Toledot, Perek 28, Pasuk 4, verse 4, Ve'yiten lecha et birkat Avraham. May he grant you the blessing of Abraham. And so the baton is passed from father to son again. Yitzchak passes the baton on to Yaakov. But does Yaakov accept it? Let's see. Yaakov's acceptance of this ideology, what I keep calling the Lech Lecha ideology, is found in this week's Parashat Vayetzei. Upon waking from his dream of the angels going up and down, we remember the story, right? On the ladder, the angels go up and down on the ladder. He says, V'zeh shar hashamayim. This is the gateway to heaven. This is in Perek 28, in chapter 28, Pasuk 17. He acknowledges that Abraham's way is the right way. There is a connection between heaven and earth. And so shortly after, in Parashat Vayishlach, you will recall the episode where he meets his brother Esav, who's very angry with him, and Yaakov offers him many gifts by way of appeasement. And Esav refuses to take the gifts. And Yaakov insists that he takes it. And he says at Perek 33, verse 11, Pasuk 11, he says, "Take the present I brought to you, because Hashem has been very good to me. And I have kol, I have everything." He confirms he has Abraham's kol. But Yaakov's blessing is not bakol, in everything, nor is it mikol, from everything. He combines both and simply keeps kol. Everything, he encapsulates both. And so by way of recap, we have a blessing to each of our forefathers of kol, of everything. By Abraham it says bakol, by Yitzchak it says mikol, and Yaakov it just says plain kol. Chazal, our sages, understand from this that each of our forefathers was given a taste of Olam Haba, was given a taste of the world to come, while still alive in this world. A connection between this world and the next. Abraham's uniqueness was that he had to, so to speak, go back to the original kol that was made for Adam and Chava. He had to go backwards, so therefore kol is reversed, and he has to go lech, right? So the original kol that Hashem had created from Adam and Chava, that they should have been doing, this was their job. He had to go back and get the baton, so he had to go backwards, and he had to go lech. And then he was blessed bakol, because he did it twice. So he was blessed in everything, and he could appreciate everything that Hashem had put in the world, everything that he could appreciate Hashem in everything. He immersed himself in that kol that was there for the taking for Abraham and Chava, and bakol, in everything he saw blessing and elevated it. Okay, I think we're clear on that one. Yitzchak, on the other hand, gets everything handed to him. He gets this kol handed to him. And so he gets the kol mikol, from everything. Okay, he sees the blessing and thrives on the blessing which he gets from Abraham. So he gets from kol, and it's been handed over to him, and he still sees a blessing, and he carries it forward. And we learned last week Yitzchak's stability and his power of persistence and just maintaining everything, maintenance. And finally we come to Yaakov, who simply has kol. He has everything, because he's simply satisfied with everything he has. He is totally imbued and committed to this, what I call Lech Lecha ideology. The go, enjoy the world, elevate it. That's the principle. He represents it. To keep the analogy, he is the baton. He's not just carrying the baton, he is the baton. He is the attitude of kol. Now, in preparing this shiur originally, when I originally prepared this shiur as a whole shiur, something occurred to me. And I know it's the wrong time of year, so you'll forgive me, but I think it's just a nice idea. The numerical value of kol, or lech, as we've discussed, same letters, the numerical value is 50. Where in the Torah do we see 50? Where do we come across 50? The Omer, right? We're commanded to count 50 days between Pesach and Shavuot. It's an explicit Torah commandment. So of course we do it, right? Nope, we don't. We count, surprisingly, we do not count 50 days, we count 49 days, despite it being a divine categorical order from Hashem. We don't count 50 days, we count 49. I'm not going to go into a whole shiur about the Omer right now and the whole significance of 49 and 50. Let's not do it right now, but let's very briefly say that 7 is a number of the natural world. I'm sure we've all heard that concept before. We have 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 notes of the musical scale, 7 days of the week. Every aspect of the physical world is represented by 7. When we go above 7, we transcend into the non-natural world, into the spiritual world, which is, for example, why a boy has a Brit Milah on the 8th day, because we're transcending the natural world. We're going over and above the natural. During the Omer, following the miraculous time of Pesach, the miraculous Exodus, what we do is we bring ourselves down into the natural world, and we try to earn the Torah for ourselves. We're going to receive the Torah in Shavuot, and rather than just be given it, we want to earn it. And so we go through 7 cycles of 7, working through each of our own natural character traits, and try and achieve that transcendence, that improvement in character to deserve the Torah. And so Shavuot arrives, and on the basis that we've worked on our natural selves, we transcend. We don't need to count the 50th. It's not that we're not counting the 50th. It doesn't need to be counted. We transcend it. We've counted 7 sevens, and now we transcend. We automatically transcend into the 50th, and it doesn't need counting because we're not of this world anymore. We become spiritual. And so it occurred to me that this lech, this 50, this idea of lech or kol, whose numerical value is also 50, in that we hold the baton of transcendence. As Rashi tells us in explaining the words lech lecha, which we saw a couple of weeks ago, go for yourself. Hashem is saying, go for your pleasure and for your benefit. Use the world. Abraham and we are being given a challenge. Use the world. Enjoy it. And through its enjoyable utilization, connect to Hashem and elevate the mundane. We hold the baton of transcendence in our hands. This is where we live as Jews. As individuals and as a nation, this is where we live. We live to transcend the physical. That's our challenge. It was set out for Adam and Chava, who were told Mikol, from everywhere in the garden they could eat except for one place. And that's where they ate from. And so it came to Abraham to have to do the work. And he passed his test. He passed the test of Lech, becoming Kol, and through that we transcend. He was given the blessing of the understanding of Hashem, infusing the world with himself, and everything being part of Hashem. Hashem being part of the world, and we have to elevate the world. And so now we can understand why in Birkat Hamazon we ask to be blessed like our forefathers, Bakol Mikol Kol. It's a very strange thing to say in Birkat Hamazon. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, that we ask to be blessed like Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Bakol Mikol Kol. What does it mean? This is what it means. We wish to be blessed in ascending degrees, just like Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We're asking Hashem to bless us in a way that we too can, like Abraham Avinu, immerse ourselves in the worldly and elevate it. And then, having done so, we should continue to receive the blessing from everything and be blessed with the persistence, the solidity, the power to maintain like Yitzchak, even in adversity.